So this is America now. This is America now. I do my show on Friday. We went over the Dallas shooter that opened fire on a Dallas ICE facility on Friday. Killing the two migrants and I guess he was just a deranged human, obviously. But I then go to do my show on Monday, have my weekend, watch football, do whatever. And each day I look at my phone and I see somebody dead. I see another shooting. I see uh, just this horrific two scenes of four or five people dead in both scenes. And then on the recent one on yesterday on Sunday, the guy just rams his truck into a church and then shoots the whole thing up. Killing four people. Uh, I don't even know what to say. Like, this is just ridiculous. And the right, in the past, we've gone over it as well. They try to politicize specific situations to fit their narrative, and I just want to call it the hypocrisy today because Caroline Levitt is on one again. Uh, you know, uh, when she talks about this shooter, who's a clear MAGA supporter. This guy had a Trump 2020 shirt on, and then he had a "Make Liberals Cry" shirt on, shit like that. And then when Irina Zarutska died, the Ukrainian woman, that was a horrific scene, by the way. Absolutely terrible situation. She was trying to call, the guy deranged. Of course he was, but she was hammering him no end. And then when it's this guy who just rammed his truck, killing four people at a church on a Sunday, she says, "Oh, we got to see what went wrong with him. Uh, we got to see what went wrong here." I mean, like, this guy's a domestic terrorist, plain and simple, and you're trying to say what happened to him, what went wrong. She didn't say that about the guy that killed the Ukrainian woman. She didn't say, "Oh, what went wrong with him? We should have got another chance, or we should have did something to help him." No, what you did was say, "Oh, he should have been locked up." It was, which, like, that those are good questions. I didn't look into that situation fully, but he had a lot of arrests. But I just think the two situations are treated way, way differently. And I'm gonna play two videos by Caroline Leverett. Two videos both on two different situations. The one in North Carolina, the stabbing, and then the shooting in Michigan. So here's gonna be the first video of the one in North Carolina, and then we'll get into the next one after.
Today, I would like to address the tragedy that has not received nearly enough media attention: the brutal murder of Irina Zarutska. Here are the facts that many outlets have shamefully and intentionally failed to report until President Trump drew attention to it. On August 22nd, Irina Zarutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a savage career criminal. This is a public transportation system that many in the area use every single day to go to school and work. Irina was on the train that night traveling home from her job at a pizzeria, still in uniform from her shift. This beautiful, innocent 23-year-old young woman was a Ukrainian refugee who had recently fled her country for a chance at a safer life and a promising new beginning here in the United States of America. But tragically, a public transportation system in a major American city was more dangerous than the active war zone that she left. The president and the entire White House are praying for her family and friends during this unimaginably difficult time. But while we extend our thoughts and prayers, we must also seek justice for this crime and call attention to this heinous incident. Surveillance video of the killing was finally released to the public this past Friday. It shows the alleged killer, DeCarlos Brown Jr., pull out a knife, get up from his seat behind Irina, and prepare to thrust a blade into her neck before the released footage gets cut. This is pure evil on full display. The most enraging and unacceptable part of this story is that her death was entirely preventable. DeCarlos Brown never should have been on that train that night. In fact, he should have been behind bars. DeCarlos Brown has been charged with crimes no fewer than 14 times, dating back to 2011, including for armed robbery, felony larceny, breaking and entering, and shoplifting. Brown had previously served 5 years in prison for a robbery with a deadly weapon charge, and he had also forfeited bonds 3 different times, twice in 2014 and once in 2023. Despite all of this past documented criminal history, when Brown was arrested yet again in January of this past year, a Democrat judge, who I will add was a strong supporter of former Vice President Kamala Harris, released this insane criminal once again without requiring him to pay any bail. He simply had to sign a written promise to return for his court hearing. Think about how crazy it is to ask a career criminal, someone who by definition repeatedly breaks the law, to just sign a written promise and come back again another day. This is madness.
Okay, so there you go, right? Just keep in mind, another thing I want to know, obviously don't fucking support this murderer that just senselessly killed that Ukrainian woman, but just take note of the words that she used: savage. This 14-time felon or criminal, whatever you want to say. And then when we switch over videos to this guy who literally killed 4 people and rammed his truck into a church on a Sunday, who also had a criminal record. Let's see the words that she uses. Let's see if she calls him savage and all these other buzzwords that she wants to use.
The FBI director tell you about the shooter? What do we know?
What we know at this point in time is that he was a member of this Michigan community, that he is a veteran of
He was a member of the Michigan community.
United States Armed Forces. He served in the United States Marine Corps in Iraq. His family is cooperating with the FBI, and so they are currently trying to dig in and get to the bottom of why he committed this heinous act of violence. It's unfathomable. And as the president rightfully put in his Truth Social yesterday, this appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians. And the Trump administration is fully committed to not only investigating these crimes, but prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law, but also working very hard to prevent them, to see if there's red flags. The FBI is going to treat those as public safety emergencies and investigate.
Okay, so that's it right there. I mean, you can just listen to the choice of words there. She doesn't call him savage. And she doesn't point out the past criminal convictions. She highlights his past with the army or whatever he was in, the military service, and he was a member of the Michigan community, and it's just things like that where obviously they don't want to criticize him too much because he was a Donald Trump supporter, and but when it's a black guy in a Democrat city, she goes literally to the press conference and names 30 different things that went wrong there. And, it's obvious hypocrisy there. So this is the guy here. This is him wearing his Trump 2020 shirt and whatever, obvious Trump supporter, and and senselessly murdered all those people at the church, or not all of them, but, senselessly murdered 4, injured like 8 of them. And, there's something here, right? Why does this keep happening? I didn't even show you guys the other one. I believe his name was Nigel Edge. Trump didn't even comment on that one. But when, I guess when Kirk dies or Zarutska dies, literally the whole Republican, congressmen and women will comment on it. Nancy Mace will say the Democrats own it. Even when somebody that's not registered Democrat commits the murder, somehow the Democrats own it. And the Democrats also did what DeCarlos Brown did in North Carolina. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's just sad to see that they're blaming, or they're really just politicizing anything that fits their narrative. They don't really care what happens. Well, I will say that they do care, but they don't care to the same extent when somebody, a white man, which is the majority of them, right, commits the crime and they can't link them to the Democrats or transgender people or any minority group. So they will not treat them as badly as some of the other people, right? So yeah, I mean, the other one, Nigel Edge, he killed 4 people as well. I'm looking at it now. He killed 4 people, and he was also a let's see here. Yeah, he was in the military. Doesn't say which branch, but yeah. So obvious hypocrisy from the right, guys. This guy was a terrible human being, a domestic terrorist to the full extent. There's no reason that, she should be just highlighting his past and all the other things that she did. She should be calling him a domestic terrorist and, an awful human being. And they need to also talk about what is causing all these white men to do this, right? Because they want to hammer, DeCarlos Brown, who was also a horrible human being, not to keep repeating myself, but obvious, terrible human who killed that woman. But, you don't see that every day. Every time there's a mass shooting, there's mostly white men. But they don't comment on this. I'm just calling out the clear hypocrisy. Donald Trump didn't comment on the Nigel Edge shooting. He did on the last one, but he didn't criticize him they criticize his actions. They don't criticize the people themselves or the upbringing because they look like them and they voted for him. So they'll, just condemn his actions, but they won't say anything about the person himself. I don't even remember seeing Trump talk about the Colorado shooting the same day as Charlie Kirk, which was another white person, right? White male, I believe. He was only 16. So what's happening there? You want to say the Democrats are indoctrinating people in colleges. What is indoctrinating these young white males or white males in general to start going churches, schools, wherever, and shooting up said places? For what? What is happening? This is disproportionately, for white men. I don't know how to say it. They try to pin, or when we went over the video the other day of Kerry Lake, the guy on there, I forgot his name. He's trying to say that as transgenders always, how are they 1%, but they commit a lot of these mass shootings, and we've gone over like 4 of them within the past week, and they're all white male, not transgender. What are you talking about? So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy, guys. So I'm gonna end the show there. I'm gonna have all my links to my social media down below, or you can see it right here. But it's more in the link tree down below. And I just posted another Substack. I don't have that on here, but I just posted another Substack, so you guys can check that out as well down in the description. And subscribe, guys, and appreciate all of you.